What can you tell us about the rare earth minerals flow from China? Is it going to flow?
It is flowing, and look, we're not without levers on our side. We have plenty of products that they depend on us for, so there is a back and forth. We do not want to decouple from China. We need to de-risk.
And in terms of those rare earth magnets and minerals, they were pushing back. What is the leverage point?
There's a big group of products. It could be aircraft engines and aircraft parts. It could be certain chemicals that are used in production of plastics. It could be the ingredients for silicon. It's a wide range.
And that's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent with me here yesterday on rare earth minerals, trade negotiations continuing with China. President Trump is boosting mining operations to put the U.S. first in this critical minerals race. The Pentagon recently awarding a $10 million grant to NioCorp to speed up exploration and engineering. Take a look at NioCorp stock this morning. The minerals firm recently completing phase 1 of its drilling program at the Elk Creek project in southeast Nebraska. The mine would be the first of its kind in the U.S., extracting scandium, niobium, and titanium. The project now rapidly advancing toward the financing stage, which would enable an immediate construction launch when completed. Joining me right now is NioCorp Development's Chairman and CEO Mark Smith. Mark, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. And I know you're headed to the Munich Mining Conference in early October to present more details. Give us a sense of the backdrop in some of these very important important items and where the demand and supply lies today.
Great to see you again, Maria, and thank you for having us on the show today. Let me tell you where things are at. First of all, we are headed to Munich. This is going to be the largest mining conference in Europe. There will be over 1,000 investors there, and Scott Honan, our COO, and myself will be there. We'll make a presentation to the group, and we will also be meeting with probably 30 or so investors, doing one-on-one meetings with them. And I've got to tell you, I am so excited for this conference because every time I get to tell this story, it makes me happy. This is a really, really good story, and it's very important that we continue with the development of this project because we don't produce scandium, we don't produce niobium today, and we don't produce heavy rare earths in the U.S. today. NioCorp can do that. This is a great project.
And that's why this $10 million award from the Department of Defense or the Department of War was so important for you, because your Nebraska minerals project will, I guess, supposedly make the heavy rare earth minerals that MP Materials need to make magnets for the Department of War, right?
That's exactly right, Maria. And the drilling that we're doing is being done at the absolute highest standards possible. This will meet the SK 1300 requirements of the Securities and Exchange Commission. And I think that that's such an important point that I can't raise enough when we talk about this project. The standards that we meet for our technical work are as high as you can find. And this will allow investors to know that the risk of a mining project that can often be the case doesn't exist with the NioCorp project. Our technical standards are as high as you can get. Our drilling is basically done. We're waiting for the chemical analysis to come back. Everything we've seen so far tells us we will be able to take our probable reserves and elevate them to proven reserves. That's the highest standard you can reach in the industry.
Yeah, and that's why I asked you about the supply-demand backdrop, because there's a lot of investor interest in your company, in this entire space, certainly after the MP Materials deal. But I want to get your take on the demand and why we have this short supply. What does the United States need to do to ensure that we actually can be self-sufficient and not rely on the refining of these items in China?
Great question, Maria, and this has been the dilemma for quite some time. We've allowed all these supply chains to actually exit the United States. We had them in the United States. We allowed them to exit. We are now in the process of onshoring all of these activities. And President Trump and his White House gets this as this is the problem. we have to have these activities on site or on shore, or we don't have really a good way to negotiate a lot of the trade issues that our country is trying to negotiate right now. Having these onshore supply chains, having price support mechanisms supported by the federal government takes away all the games that have been played in this industry for 20 to 40 years. This is the way to take care of the problem. I couldn't be more pleased with the courage that's being demonstrated by our government right now.
You're right. And this is President Trump's vision. And again, it's all about national security. So the project that we're talking about in Nebraska, you will be able to produce, or you're producing niobium, but you've also got scandium and titanium. Why are these minerals so important? Tell me about the demand part of the story and where those are used.
Yeah, the demand is unbelievable because it's such a wide spectrum in terms of a market. We've got, we can support the green energy if people want that supported. We can support wind turbines. We can support EVs. We can support robotics. On the other hand, we can do basic industry. We can also support the defense industry. So we have a wide spectrum. Every single one of the markets for these minerals is actually growing today, and it's growing at significant compounded annual growth rate figures. So that's why it's so exciting to think about get this mine up and running, get these supply chains back onshore. The markets will support the production of these materials.
Now, obviously, Brazil is a big producer here, and President Trump has had a major issue with the Brazilian government over the way they are treating the former president, Bolsonaro. What do you want to say about the impact of Brazil here?
This is a very important issue to us right now, Maria. I know the president is working on multiple issues. He's addressed rare earths with MP Materials. He's addressing lithium with Lithium Americas. He's addressed the antimony issue. We need to be watching niobium now. The USGS about 3 weeks ago published a study on how critical the critical minerals are. And niobium came up as the second most critical mineral that we have in the United States, and yet we import 100% of what we need. If there is a disruption in the niobium supply chain, there could be upwards of a $10+ billion impact to GDP. That is the second largest impact of all those critical minerals. We currently import 100% of that, primarily from Brazil. With the trade negotiations and not getting along very well with Brazil right now, I get very afraid of will President Lula pull his trump card, so to speak, like Xi has done, and stop the imports of niobium. It's not a big deal for Brazil. We only account for about 6.6% of the niobium that they export out of Brazil, and yet it would be a $10 billion plus hit to our GDP in this country. So let's get NioCorp up and running.
Very, very important point there on Brazil. Mark, good to see you. We'll be watching the story. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Thank you, Maria.
Mark Smith joining us, NioCorp. We'll be right back.